You know, and if you new here at the Israel of God, we always deal with the Bible by subject and title. So today's title is Jacob and his brother Esau. Because, you know, it's a big controversy about who is Jacob and who is Esau. You know, I hear some of my Hebrew brothers say that Esau is the white man. Well, I don't know about that, but, you know, we're going to run Esau down. And we're going to show that Esau is actually Jacob's twin brother. And whatever happened to Esau? You hear about Jacob, but you never hear about his brother Esau. Whatever happened to Esau? Where's he at? Where's Jacob's brother at? Well, what we going to do today, we going to chase him down a little bit. And what we going to do, we even going to do look at a little history. But before we get started, I would like guys to write down some dates. Because a lot of times we read the Bible, but we don't know what time did these brothers really prophesy. So what we going to do, let's just write some dates down. In the book of Isaiah, Isaiah prophesied somewhere about 740 BC. That's when Isaiah was prophesying. Let's look at Jeremiah and let's see what time was Jeremiah prophecy. Jeremiah prophesied from 626 BC to 587 BC. What time did Ezekiel prophesy? Because this is going to be very important when we get into the lesson. When did Ezekiel prophesy? Ezekiel prophesied from 593 BC to 571 BC. Because a lot of times you read these books and you really don't know when was these brothers actually prophesying. At what time was they prophesying? So that's going to come in handy during this lesson. But we're going to run down Jacob and we're going to run down Esau, especially Esau, because the big controversy is, where's Jacob's brother at? Where did he wind up at, Jacob's brother? So what we got to do, because it's a controversy, I say I'm Jacob. So if I'm saying I'm Jacob, who is that man who calling himself Jacob then? Who is he? We need to run him down, and we're going to run him down so good, we're going to place him right into Jerusalem. And we even going to show you how long this dude been in the land of Jerusalem. So first of all, let's go to Genesis 25. We're going to start this off in Genesis 25, and we're going to start with Isaac and Rebekah, his wife, and we're going to pick these two boys up when they was in the womb. Genesis 25, and we're going to pick it up at verse 20. Because right here, Isaac's wife is barren, and he went and inquired of the Lord, and the Lord let his wife get pregnant. Genesis 25 and verse 20. Go ahead and read.
And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian.
Go ahead.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
You know, she couldn't have no children, so what Isaac do? Isaac went and inquired of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Okay, now she got pregnant. Go ahead and read.
And the children struggled together within her.
Wait a minute. Now these are twin children, and they are struggling in her womb. So I can bet them pains that she had was so bad, she turned around and went and inquired of the Lord. He said, so the children struggled together within her. Go ahead.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
I bet them pains was so bad that she went to inquire of the Lord here. Go ahead and let's see what the Lord is going to tell her. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
You talking about 2 different nations is in her womb. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
He say 2 manner of people gonna be separated from your bowels. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
See, this is a key point. He say that the elder was gonna serve the younger. Whenever the blessing came, usually it was the elder who got the blessing. But in this case, the Lord is talking to Rebekah, nobody else. And what did he tell Rebekah? That the elder was going to serve the younger. And you talking about 2 different nations. You talking about a black nation, and you talking about a white nation. And I know some people may say, that can't be. You can't have no 2 different nations coming out of one sister. Well, let me read this article to you here. You can pick it up here and read down to about right here.
Okay.
Let's read this article where this Jamaican sister married this European guy, and they had twins. One came out black, one came out white. Go ahead and read.
The article is from BET.com, posted October 25th, 2006. If you ever checked out an episode of the 70s sitcom The Jeffersons, you know that Tom Willis, a white man, married Helen, a black woman, and they had 2 kids, one black and one white. Well, an interracial couple in Australia, believed to be the first in the country, naturally conceived 1 black and 1 white girl, the Daily Telegram reported.
Now, you're looking at the same thing happening here in the Bible. You're looking at this sister who had twin boys. One of them came out black and one of them came out white. And I know some people say, that ain't never been done. Are you sure? Go ahead and read.
Natasha White, 35, of Jamaican English heritage, and Father Michael Singer, 34, of German heritage, said they were blown away when they saw how different their twin daughters, Elisa and Jasmine, were.
Jamaican sister and a
German.
German guy. Go ahead and read.
When they were born, you could see there was a color difference straight away. We couldn't believe it, Knight told the Telegraph. Alicia's eyes were brown and her hair was dark. Jasmine's eyes were blue and her hair was white. You could hardly see her hair on her eyebrows.
That's it? But that's good. So we do have an article where somebody had a white baby and a black baby. Let's pick it back up at verse 22 again. 25 and 22. Go ahead and read.
And the children struggled together within her.
See, we don't understand that our age-old enemy, who we've been fighting for centuries, has been our twin brother. And we was even fighting this guy even in the womb. Go ahead and read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 different nations is in thy womb. Go ahead and read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Yeah, 2 manner of people going to be separated from your bowels. 2 different people here. Go ahead and read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Always remember that. He say the elder is going to serve the younger. Go ahead and read.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Go ahead.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Now let's kind of take a look at some of the characteristics of these boys right here. Go ahead and read.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field.
And he's still that way. The man who we call Esau today is the people who we call Jews. That's our twin brother Esau. And right now he's still a cunning hunter, and he is a man of the field. The field is the world. And when it comes to finances, it don't get no better than him. It don't get no better than him. He is a man, he's a cunning hunter, and he is a man of the field. These are the characteristics that this boy had, and he's still the same way. When you want to get a good lawyer, who they tell you to go and get? Go and get you a Jew. When it comes to finances, who the best in the business? The man who called himself a Jew. He's still a cunning hunter, and he a man of the field. Go ahead and read.
Middle of 27. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents.
Hey, Jacob, what you doing, bruh? Oh, I'm going to the crib, man. He just a plain old brother. Go ahead, dwelling in tents. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
So the father loved Esau, the mother loved Jacob. Go ahead.
And Jacob sold pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me?
Go ahead.
And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob.
I thought they say that Jacob stole the birthright. When I was coming up, some people told me, see, Jacob stole Esau's birthright. Jacob did not steal his birthright. Esau sold his birthright for some food, for some soup. Go ahead and read.
34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
Let's go to Hebrews, the 12th chapter. Just make sure we understand that Esau sold his birthright, because some people then told me, Jacob stole Esau's birthright. No, Esau sold that birthright. Hebrews 12, and let's pick it up at verse 14. Hebrews 12, and let's pick it up at verse 14, and this is what we need to do to all men right here. Hebrews 12. And we're going to pick it up at verse 14. Go ahead and read.
Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord.
Go ahead.
Look diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Go ahead.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
So the book is letting you know that Esau did what? He sold that birthright. Jacob did not steal Esau's birthright. What Esau did, Esau sold his birthright for something to eat. So now, since we know that Esau sold his birthright, now it's always been that the elder get the blessing. But remember, the Lord told Rebekah the elder is going to serve the younger. So now Isaac that got old, his eyes is dim, he can't see. Now it's time to usher up the blessing. Let's see what's going to happen with this blessing. Let's go to Genesis 27, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Genesis 27 and verse 1. This is when Isaac, his father, is finna meet out the blessing. And it seemed like since Esau knew he sold his birthright, looked like Esau would have told his father, wait, hold up, Dad. I sold my birthright to Jacob. I shouldn't get the blessing. Call Jacob in here and bless Jacob. Genesis 27. And let's pick it up at verse 1. Genesis 27, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here am I.
Go ahead.
And he said, behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field.
Because he ain't never got nothing stored up because he always in the field hunting. So Esau ain't never got nothing stored up. So now what he got to do, he got to go and do some hunting. Because he a man of the field. Go ahead and read.
And take me some venison, and make me some savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die.
He should have stopped right there and say, look, Dad, hold up now. I'll tell you what I did. I done sold my birthright to Jacob. I need to go outside the door, and you need to bring Jacob in here and bless him. But let's see if Esau do that. Go ahead and read.
Verse 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it.
Go ahead.
And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat it, and bless thee before the Lord before my death.
Go ahead.
Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee.
I'll tell you what I want you to do, Jacob. You obey my voice according to what I'm telling you to do now. Remember, the Lord had already told Rebekah that the elder was going to serve the younger. So she done pitched in here, and the Lord is working this thing. Because Esau ain't told his daddy that he sold his birthright. So now the Lord is pitching in here. Go ahead and read.
Verse 9. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
Hey, you look at Jacob, a lot of Jacob's children, they ain't got no lot of hair running coming all out the shirt and everything. Esau, a hairy man. Jacob is a smooth man. Go ahead and read. Total difference right there. Go ahead and read.
My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing.
Now let's see what the mother say. Go ahead and read.
13. And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them.
She knew wasn't no curse going to be on her. You know why she knew that? Because the Lord had already told her that the elder was going to serve the younger. She knew that. Because remember, when she had them birth pains, she went to inquire of the Lord. And what did the Lord tell her? The Lord told her 2 nations is in your womb. 2 manner of people going to be separated from your bowels, and the elder was going to serve the younger. So she already knew that Jacob was supposed to get the blessing. Go ahead and read, because the Lord didn't already told her. She had what we call the inside track. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved.
Go ahead.
And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son.
Why did she put the clothes on them? Remember, Esau is a cunning hunter. He a man of the field. And when you outside all day running around in the air, you have a certain smell on you. You know, I know some of us that ran in our house and your mama said, get in there and take a shower, boy, because you smell like the outside. So what she do? She took the clothes, some of Esau's clothes, and put them on Jacob, because it's a certain smell that Esau had from running around in the field. Go ahead and read.
16. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck.
Go ahead.
And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau.
I can't help you there, Jacob. Jacob, you lied right there. I can't help you there. And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau. Go ahead.
Thy firstborn.
Uh-huh.
I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son?
Because he know Esau got to go and hunt for some food. So now his father turned around and, how did you find this so quickly, my son? Go ahead and read.
And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me.
Go ahead.
And Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
Boy, your mama sure know how to do things, don't she? I'm going to put some of his raiment on Jacob, for he could smell like the outside, and I got to put the skin of them goats on his hand and on the smooth of his neck. Mama is covering all bases right here.
Right.
Go ahead and read.
He discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hand. So he blessed him. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am.
Uh-oh, Jacob. Go ahead.
And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed.
Uh-oh, go ahead. Jacob finna get the blessing. And when Esau come in there looking for the blessing, let's see if Isaac gonna tell Esau that, wait a minute, get Jacob back in here. I got to overturn this blessing. You the wrong one. Let's see what his father do. Go ahead and read.
28. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
Go ahead.
Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
Go ahead.
And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
Boy, I can imagine. Esau then came in the room and with the Savior meat and say, I'm your firstborn. Who art thou? Who are you? I done already gave up the blessing here, but who are you? Go ahead and read.
And I, 33, and Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed.
Uh-oh, he can't turn that blessing around. Once he blessed Jacob, he can't turn around and say, you know, you the wrong one. Bring Esau in here and let me bless him. He done blessed Jacob, and he cannot turn that blessing around. That's why he said, yea, and he shall be blessed. Go ahead and read.
34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father.
Go ahead.
And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and had taken away thy blessing.
And remember who we talking about. We're talking about Esau, Jacob's twin brother. Who is our twin brother? The man who the world recognizes the Jew. That's our twin brother. Now, this is who doing this talking right here. Go ahead and read.
And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times, He took away my birthright.
No, he didn't. You sold your birthright, bruh. He didn't take away your birthright. You sold your birthright. Go ahead and read.
And behold, now he had taken away my blessing.
But the Lord had already called it, the elder shall serve the younger. He didn't take away that either. Go ahead and read.
And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Go ahead.
And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Now let's look at this blessing that the Lord had Isaac to give to his son Esau. Go ahead and read.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
When it comes to the fatness of the earth, this brother got it. I mean, if these people, the Jewish people, took their money out this country, you know what would happen to this country? It will fall. In fact, this Jewish guy did an interview that I listened to. And he said, look, America ain't got nothing else to give to us. We done sucked all the blood out of America. That means they done made plenty money. A majority of the wars you have, our brother Esau, he have both sides. He sell weapons to the Arabs as well as weapons to the Jewish people. He gonna make sure he's not gonna lose. So this guy, when it comes to a cunning hunter, he's the man. And what is his blessing? The fatness of the earth. Go ahead and read.
And of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
Everywhere the man go, he gets slaughtered. And this make it look like he the Jew. Because everywhere he go down in Western Europe, they slaughtered this brother. They didn't slaughter him because he was a Jew. They slaughtered him because the economy in Western Europe was at an all-time low. And here come these converts coming over in Western Europe, and they making all the money. That's why they slaughtered them people. Not because they was the Hebrew Israelite. It's because the economy was so bad in Europe, and here it is, they come into Europe, these new converts, and they taking over the economy. And they taking over the economy. That's why they got slaughtered down there. And when they get slaughtered, it always look like they're getting slaughtered because they're God's chosen people. Read that verse over again, Rob.
Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
And if you want to know when Esau broke that yoke off Jacob's neck, all you got to do is go to 2 Kings 8 and 20. You'll find out that's when he broke that yoke. That's when he broke Jacob's yoke off his neck. 2 Kings 8 and verse 20. Go ahead and read.
41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Go ahead.
And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee.
So now we got both of the sons. We got Jacob and we got Esau. So you know what we got to do? Since we know we Jacob, we need to put Jacob in captivity. And then what we going to do after we put Jacob, we going to put all 12 tribes in captivity, and we going to give you the dates they went into captivity. Then we going to focus in on Esau and see how did Esau get our land? When did he go into the land of Jerusalem and get the land of Jerusalem? First of all, let's put Jacob into captivity. Let's go into Jeremiah 16th chapter. Let's go into Jeremiah the 16th chapter. Jeremiah 16. We're going to run that brother down today. As I listen to some of my Hebrew brothers, boy, these brothers here, they don't even know who Esau is. They say Esau, the white man. He is not the white man. The white man has come out of the seed of Japheth. Esau come out of the seed of Isaac, which make him Semitic. His brother Jacob is Semitic. That's why you be hearing people say, you know, the black people, Jesse Jackson is anti-Semitic. How you gonna be anti-Semitic and you Semitic? You telling me I'm against myself. Jeremiah 16, and let's pick it up at verse 10, because the Lord is going to give you a warning. If you don't keep my laws and my statutes, what's going to happen to you? Jeremiah 16 and 10, go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity?
See, this is what we need to know. Why has the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? And what is our iniquity? Go ahead and read.
Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God?
Go ahead.
Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law.
That's what then got us in trouble, us serving other gods. Go ahead and read.
And ye have done worse than your fathers.
And he say, that's what got us in trouble. He said, they have not hearkened unto my law. And then you go to a church that teach you not to keep the law, and that's what got you in captivity, not keeping the law. So now you in this captivity, and then somebody gonna tell me don't keep the law, and that's why I'm over here. I'm over here for not keeping the law, then you gonna teach me not to keep the law. Something wrong with that picture, people. And let me show you. Your fathers didn't keep the law, and we done did worse. Go ahead and read.
And ye have done worse than your fathers. For behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me.
Go ahead.
Therefore will I cast you out of this land.
He's telling you, if you start serving these other gods and breaking my law, he said, I'm gonna cast you out of this land. Go ahead and read.
Into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night. Where I will not show you favor.
He say you gonna serve other gods day and night. And he say, and I'm not gonna show you no favor. That's where anything bad happens. Seems like it happens to us first. But he giving you a warning. If you don't keep my law and you keep serving these other gods, I'm casting you out the land. I'm gonna cast you out this land. Let's go in 1 Kings, the 9th chapter. This is after Solomon had dedicated the temple. Solomon had dedicated the temple, and the Lord then told Solomon, he said, hey, if you walk like your father David walked, you can stay here forever. But now, he gonna give him a warning. 1 Kings 9, and we gonna pick it up at verse 6. As at first he told him, if you walk like your father David, you could stay in this land. But now he's going to give him a warning. 1 Kings 9, and let's pick it up at verse 6. 1 Kings 9 and verse 6. Go ahead and read.
But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I gave them. And this
the Lord is steady letting us know. If you get to going and serving other gods, I'm casting you out this land. I'm steady giving you a warning by all the prophets. If you serve other gods, I'm casting you out this land. Go ahead and read. Verse 7 again, go ahead.
Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name, will I cast out of my sight, and Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people.
Go ahead.
And at this house, which is high, every one that passeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss, and they shall say, why hath the Lord done thus unto this land and to his house? And they shall answer, because they forsook the Lord their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them, and served them. Therefore hath the Lord brought upon them all this evil.
So now the Lord is giving you a warning. If you forsake me, break my law, you start serving other gods, I'm going to have to cast you out the land that I gave to your fathers. So, and they didn't do it. So let's start looking at the Lord casting us out the land. Let's go into 2 Kings 17. Let's deal with the 9 tribes, because during the time of Solomon's son, it was a split. You had the northern kingdom that came up under the banner of Samaria, and you had the southern kingdom that made up the tribe of Judah. So now you had the northern kingdom, which made up 9 tribes, and you had the southern kingdom in Jerusalem that made up 3 tribes. So now we're going to deal with the 9 tribes. We're going to get them in captivity. 2 Kings 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 2 Kings 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. This is the northern kingdom which come up under the banner of Samaria. Go ahead and read.
In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years.
Go ahead.
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him.
Go ahead.
Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents.
So now this Assyrian king came up against Hosea, and Hosea was bringing them gifts every year. But let's see what Hosea going to do. Go ahead and read.
And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison.
So now he stopped bringing presents to the king of Assyria. So what he do? He put him in prison. Go ahead and read. Let's see what the king of Assyria going to do. Go ahead and read.
Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years.
Go ahead.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes.
And you know what time the 10 tribes, the 9 tribes rather went into captivity? They went into captivity in 732 BC. That's when 9 tribes went into captivity. It was in 732 BC. And who took the 9 tribes into captivity? It was the Assyrians. And if I'm not mistaken here, the Assyrians here is Hamites. Go ahead and read.
Verse 7. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods.
And when the 9 tribes went into captivity under the Assyrians, they never came back to the land of Israel. They never came back, and they was known as the lost tribes of the children of Israel. Because these 9 tribes, they never came back to the land. Let's drop down to verse 13, and we go keep going. Verse 13, go ahead and read.
Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants, the prophets.
And the Lord had these people to see everything that the Lord did. They looked at all the plagues he did down in Egypt. They looked at how he had them come through the Red Sea on dry land. They looked around, seen all the Egyptians laying on the shore. They'd seen everything that they seen the Lord kill the firstborn, and these people still turned from the Lord. We ain't never believed. Sometimes I wonder, why did the Lord pick us? I know it was a better choice. It had to have been a better choice. Why did he pick us? Because we ain't believed not one day. Go ahead and read.
14. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks.
He said, notwithstanding, they would not hear. But what they do? They harden their necks against the brothers who come in and tell you, turn from your evil way. And the Lord won't do you no hurt. They stiffened their neck on them. Go ahead and read.
Like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God.
Go out and preach that word, and you preach this thing right, and see how stiff our neck is. And see how stiff our neck is, even right until this day. Go ahead and read.
And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers.
And we rejected the covenant, and when he made the covenant, we said, all that the Lord have said we will do and be obedient. You know you ain't had the heart to do it. No, you ain't had the heart to do it. Go ahead and read.
And his testimonies which he testified against them, and they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them.
And you know who the heathens that was around about us? It wasn't even the white man. It was the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Jebusites. Who his children is that? Them Ham's children. And he told the children of Israel not to do according to what the Canaanites did, because if you do what they did, the land is going to spew you out. And you know what we did?
What they did.
We did just the thing that the Canaanites did. The Lord gave us their land, and you know what the Lord then did to us for doing what they did? He done spewed us out. Go ahead and read. See, and this is what I don't understand about my Hebrew brothers. You blaming everybody else for your downfall. When do you take responsibility for what your forefathers did? We ain't in captivity because the white man. We in captivity because of our behavior. So if we gonna blame anybody, brothers, blame yourself. Blame your forefathers. Quit jumping on the white man like he done did something. Yeah, he got overzealous on beating us up. It's our fault what didn't happen to us. Go ahead and read, bruh.
Concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove and worshiped all the host of heaven and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire.
No, you know who God is that we burnt our children in the fire? To the god Molech. Hey, we burnt our children in the fire too. Go ahead and read.
And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger.
Go ahead.
Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight.
The 10 tribes, he removed them straight out of his sight. He done sent them into captivity here. These the 9 tribes. Go ahead and read.
There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
So who you got left? You only got Judah left that make up Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And they made up the southern tribe. Go ahead and read.
Also, Judah kept not the commandments.
That's good. Let's go. Let's look at Judah. Let's see what he did. We got the 9 tribes in captivity right now. Let's look at the southern tribe, which made up the other 3 tribes. Let's go into 2 Chronicles. Let's go into 2 Chronicles 36. 2 Chronicles 36, we go pick it up at verse 11, and this is the last king that Judah then ever had, which was Zedekiah. Let's go into 2 Chronicles 36. 2 Chronicles 36. And we're going to pick it up at verse 11. And we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Go ahead and read.
Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
And Zedekiah was the king over Judah here, because them the only tribes that's left now is the southern tribe, which made up Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They the only ones left in the land now. The northern tribe that came under the banner of Samaria is in captivity. Go ahead and read.
Verse 12. He did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord.
You mean Jeremiah the prophet was during the times of Zedekiah, right before we went into captivity? That's why these dates are so important. Jeremiah was prophesying during the time, telling these people to turn from their evil way. Go ahead and read.
13. And he also rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by God. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord God of Israel.
See, as when you make an agreement with somebody, you breaking the agreement that you made with him before God. So now God will get you for breaking that agreement. Don't make no agreement if you don't plan on keeping it. Go ahead and read.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem.
And I'm quite sure Judah seen the 9 tribes go into captivity. And you mean to tell me they not smart enough to say, wait, we just seen the 9 tribes go into captivity a couple of 100 years ago under the Assyrians. Now we gonna do the same thing? Go ahead and read.
15. And the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place.
He studied sending the prophets to these people. Turn from your evil way. Turn from your evil way, and I won't do you no hurt. They did not listen. Go ahead and read. And then we want to blame everything on the white man. No, you didn't listen, Israel. Quit blaming stuff on the white man. Go ahead and read.
But they mocked the messengers of God and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people till there was no more remedy. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young man or maiden or old man or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand. And all the vessels of the house of God, great and small, and the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, all these he brought to Babylon.
Go ahead and read.
And they burnt the house of God, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
So when the 3 tribes went into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar, they was only supposed to be in the captivity for 70 years until the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, was over. So they was in captivity for 70 literal years. So now you got the 9 tribes that went into captivity under the Assyrians in 732, 722 BC. Now you got the other 3 tribes went into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar around 586 BC. So now you got all 12 tribes now in captivity. Let's go to Jeremiah. Since he mentioned Jeremiah, let's go to Jeremiah, 25th chapter. And remember, Jeremiah prophesied from 626 BC to 587 BC, so he right in the midst of it. He right there, right around the time when Nebuchadnezzar came and took us into captivity. Jeremiah was right there. Ezekiel was right there. Daniel was right there. They looking at this thing. They looking at it. Let's go into Jeremiah 25, and we go pick it up at verse 1. Because we got all 12 of them in captivity now. Jeremiah 25, and let's pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, that was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying,
because Jerusalem is the headquarter of Judea. The capital is Jerusalem. That's why you always got to have a place for David, and the capital is Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3. From the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, even unto this day, that is the 23rd year, the word of the Lord came unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened.
He said, you ain't hearkened. I done got up early. I'm coming speaking to you the word of God. He say, but you would not hearken. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord hath sent unto you all his servants, the prophets.
Not some of the servants, the prophets, all the servants, the prophets. Go ahead.
Rising early and sending them. But ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. They said, turn ye again now, every one from his evil way.
That's what the prophets are telling the people. Turn ye every one from his wicked way. Go ahead.
And from the evil of your doing, and dwell in the land that the Lord hath given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever.
Now, if you do that, you can stay in the land forever and ever. Go ahead and read.
And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt.
Who been hurting us then? Is it the white man, or is it the Lord that's been hurting us? It's the Lord that's been hurting us. And can't nobody hurt you the way the Lord done hurt us. This is a perfect hurt right here. Go ahead and read.
Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith the Lord, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt. Therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant.
Oh, you mean to tell me the king of Babylon, which is a Gentile right here, you mean to tell me he the Lord's servant right here? Yeah, he is servant to take you into captivity. Go ahead and read.
And will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all the nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and a hissing, and a perpetual desolation.
Go ahead.
Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle.
Go ahead.
And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
So when we went into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar, the 3 tribes They was only to be in the captivity for how long? 70 years. Now, let's look at some history. Since we've read it in the Bible, we're going to start here, and we're going to stop right here. Because history backs up the Bible, people. You went into captivity. People act like they don't know what didn't happen to you. Go ahead and read.
I'm reading from a book called The Last 2 Million Years, page 86, Solomon's Temple Falls. The decline of the nation began soon afterwards, and the 12 tribes of Israel became divided into 2 kingdoms.
Because you had the kingdom of the north, who made up Samaria, and you had the kingdom of the south that made up Judah. Go ahead and read.
The majority formed the kingdom of Israel, which is capital at Samaria.
So that was the northern tribe, the 9 tribes. Go ahead.
But Judah in the south maintained the legacy of David and Solomon and kept Jerusalem as its capital and holy city. The Jewish people were now caught between the great power blocks of Assyria and Babylonia.
Who took the 9 tribes into captivity?
The Assyrians.
The Assyrians. And who took the 3 tribes into captivity? The Babylonians. Go ahead and read.
In 722 BC,
this is the Assyrians in 722 BC. Go ahead.
Samaria was captured by the Assyrian king Sargon II. He deported 28,000 Israelites who became the 10 lost tribes of Israel. The Assyrians brought deportees from other countries to repopulate Samaria. These newcomers married Israelites who had escaped deportation, and their descendants became the Samaritans referred to in the Bible.
So that's that sister, when Jesus came to the well and he was thirsty, and he asked for some water, and that sisters told him, our fathers worshiped here in these mountains, and you saying Jerusalem is the place where you ought to worship. Jesus turned around and told the lady, he said, you worship, you know not what. We know what we worship. Salvation is of the Jews. She was out of Samarian. She's called herself a Samaritan, and she was one of the ones who the people deported into the land. And she wasn't a Samaritan. Go ahead and read.
20 years later, the Assyrians turned their attention to Judah, the second Jewish kingdom. But though the invaders sacked many Judean cities, they failed to take the capital. Jerusalem survived for more than a century until it fell in 586 BC.
There go the southern kingdom. In 586 BC.
To the Babylonian ruler Nebuchadnezzar.
So he the one that took the other 3 tribes out. Go ahead and read. See, it's in recorded history and it's in the Bible. Go ahead and read.
The city and the great temple were razed to the ground, and there was a massive deportation of Jews into captivity in Babylon.
Now we got all 12 tribes. Where they at? Everybody is in captivity. So if everybody is in captivity, who's in the land of Jerusalem then? It's just an open vessel. Ain't nobody there. So now, let's look at Esau now. Let's look at Jacob's brother. Let's go into Genesis 36. Let's go into Genesis 36. We got all 12 tribes in captivity. Now we want to pick up Esau. Genesis 36. Genesis 36, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Genesis 36 and verse 1. Let's look at Esau now. And now we see Israel is out the land. Ain't nobody there. So now we're going to put Esau right in the land, and we're going to show you how he got there. Genesis 36 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Go ahead.
Esau took his wives of the daughter of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite.
That's good, because now Esau, who is Edom, took all his wives from the Hamites. So now he in the land, but the land can't hold Jacob and Esau, they riches. So now they finna split. Let's drop down to verse 6. Drop down to verse 6 and we go keep reading. Go ahead and read.
And Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters and all the persons of his house and his cattle and all his beasts and all the substance which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob.
Because now they splitting, because the land can't hold they riches. They got too many riches, so they didn't split. Let's see what Esau wind up going to. Go ahead and read.
For their riches were more than that they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
So what is Esau land? Esau land is Mount Seir. That's where our twin brother went when him and Jacob split. Jacob went his way, and Esau dwelled in the land of Mount Seir. That's his land. And that's going to be very important to understand where's Esau land is. Let's go into Joshua, the 24th chapter. Let's go into Joshua, the 24th chapter. Make sure we understand what land the Lord gave to Esau. Joshua 24, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. Just want to make sure we understand what his land was. Because the average person don't know, where did Esau go when him and Jacob split? He went to his land, and his land is called Mount Seir. Joshua 24, and let's pick it up at verse 3. Joshua 24, and let's pick it up at verse 3. Go ahead and read.
And I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood and led him throughout all the land of Canaan and multiplied his seed and gave him Isaac.
Go ahead.
And I gave unto Isaac Jacob and Esau.
And we read that. He gave it to Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. Go ahead.
And I gave unto Esau Mount Seir.
And he gave it to Esau what land? He gave him Mount Seir. Go ahead and read.
To possess it. But Jacob and his children went down into Egypt.
So what did the Lord give Esau? He gave him Mount Seir to possess it. So what is Esau land? Our twin brother, his land was Mount Seir. So let's see what the Lord is going to talk about his land. Let's go to Ezekiel 35. Let's go to Ezekiel 35. Let's see what the Lord is going to talk about Mount Seir right here. Ezekiel 35, and we go pick it up at verse 1. Ezekiel 35, and we go pick it up at verse 1. And right here, we ain't talking about the people, we talking about the land right here. Ezekiel 35, and we go pick it up at verse 1. Ezekiel 35 and 1. Soon as I stop hearing so many pages, you're going to read.
All right.
35 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying.
Now, the word of the Lord, Ezekiel, let me go back here. Ezekiel prophesied from 593 BC to 571 BC. He read in the midst, seeing Israel go into captivity. They went into captivity under Judah in 586 BC. So now Ezekiel is right there. He's looking at everything. Go ahead and read again, Rob. I'm sorry.
35 and 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it.
He ain't talking about the people. He's talking about the land right here. He say, prophesy against Mount Seir, our twin brother land. Go ahead and read.
And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee.
He say, "Oh, Mount Seir." He say, "I am against thee, and I will stretch out my arm against thee." Go ahead. Against the land he talking about here. Go ahead and read.
And I will make thee most desolate.
I'm going to make you desolate. In other words, I'm taking your land from you, Esau. I'm going to make your land desolate. Go ahead and read.
And I will lay thy cities waste. And thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Go ahead.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
These people have had a perpetual hatred against us. Our biggest enemy has been our twin brother. But we don't know who our enemy is. Our biggest enemy has been our twin brother. But for the hatred you done had against them, go ahead.
And hath shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
That's when we went into captivity. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood.
He said, "As I live, saith the Lord God, Esau, I'm going to prepare you to blood." Go ahead.
And blood shall pursue thee.
Wherever you go, Esau, blood is going to pursue you. Boy, that little bitty old nation over in Israel, and you got all them Arabs, 12 nations, and he beat them down like it's just one person. When it come to war, that man know how to war too. He bloodthirsty. Our twin brother is bloodthirsty. And wait till you read how he did us when we went into captivity, and we gonna read it. Wait till you find out what he did to us. Y'all gonna say, "Oh no, oh no." But that's why everybody think that he the Jew, because blood pursued this guy. Wherever he go, he gets slaughtered. And by him getting slaughtered, this blood pursuing him, everybody say, he the Jew. He getting slaughtered because he the Jew. No, he's getting slaughtered because this is the blessing that his forefather Isaac gave him, that blood was going to pursue him. See, we get the thing all messed up. Oh, they slaughtered, they the Jews. No. Find out what blessing that this brother got. Then you can see it a whole lot better. Verse 6 again. Go ahead.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Go ahead.
Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate.
He said, I'm going to make Mount Seir desolate here. Go ahead.
And cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth.
Go ahead.
And I will fill his mountain with his slain men.
He said, I'm going to fill his mountain with his slain men. Go ahead.
In thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
Let's take a look at some history now. Let's see what time did this happen to our brother Esau. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go down to, okay. The sarcophagus of an ancient civilization. That's this book. And this is Edom, Esau, and the Edomites. This is the history of our twin brother right here.
The sarcophagus of an ancient civilization, page 365.
And we're reading about our twin brother Esau here. Go ahead and read.
The history of the Idumeans. Shortly after Jerusalem's fall and Judah's exile to Babylon in 586 BC.
When we went into captivity, when the southern tribe went into captivity in 5-something BC, go ahead and read.
The Edomites migrated, for some reason, from their particular home in Mount Seir to southern Judah.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that this man, when we went into captivity in 586 BC under Nebuchadnezzar, we going to show you that it was an Arab tribe that made war against Mount Seir and the Edomites, and they pushed them right down into southern Jerusalem, Remember, we in captivity. Our land is just an open vessel now. Anybody who got the strength can go in your land and take it now. Read all that over again, Rob. I'm sorry. I got excited. Go ahead and read that again.
Shortly after Jerusalem's fall and Judah's exile to Babylon in 586 BC, the Edomites migrated for some reason from their particular home in Mount Seir to southern Judah and the adjacent portions of the Negev, and from that time onward, they were known as Idumeans.
See, the Greeks gave them their name Idumea. That's a Greek name. So when you read in the Bible Idumea, Dedan, Teman, them is all children of Esau. Because sometimes we read them names in the Bible, we don't know who we reading about. But you're reading about your twin brother. Go ahead and read.
An analogy, it will be remembered, took place in the history of Israel. For prior to Israel's captivity by Nebuchadnezzar, their history is usually spoken of as the history of the Hebrews, whereas after their captivity, we are accustomed to speak of their history as the history of the Jews.
That's why they all call themselves Jews now. Because when they went down into southern Jerusalem, hey, it ain't the history of the Hebrews no more. This is the history of the Jews. That's why they all call themselves Jews. Go ahead and read.
It was the Greeks who gave the Edomites their new name and spoke of their new home in southern Judah as Idumea.
Wait a minute, who is there then? Who went into our land? And you know what time they went into our land? They went into our land in the 6th century BC. And they've been there ever since. They ain't moved. Go ahead and read.
The latter occurs once in the New Testament, in Mark chapter 3, verse 8. Their migration was apparently due to the northern movement of the desert Arabs known as the Nabateans, who suddenly emerged out of the wilds of Central Arabia. For a long time, they threatened Edomite territory, pushing steadily nearer and nearer in the direction of Mount Seir.
So these Arabs, which is Nabateans, they was making war against Esau and Mount Seir, so now they steady pushing and pushing closer and closer to Mount Seir. So sometime close to the 6th century, they pushed Esau out of Mount Seir. And where did Esau go? Right down in the southern Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
Until at some time during the 6th century BC, they succeeded in expelling the sons of Esau from their mountain fastnesses and took possession of the rock city of Petra. The history of the Nabateans forms a chapter by itself.
See, when we read this Ezekiel 35, this is a prophecy about the Nabateans pushing them out their land. Pushing them out their land. But we don't know nothing about this kind of stuff. They pushed them out their land of Mount Seir, and where did they go? Southern Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
The history of the Nabateans forms a chapter by itself, but here it must be observed that the migration of the Edomites from Mount Seir to southern Judah cannot be disassociated from the invasion of the Nabateans who drove them from their old home. Indeed, the invasion of the latter and the migration of the former stand in the relation of cause and effect.
So now you got the Nabateans made war against them Edomites and drove them out of Mount Seir. And where did they wind up going? Southern Jerusalem. When they got there, the poorest people was in the land. Because they didn't take everybody into captivity. What they did, they left the poorest people in the land that probably couldn't even defend themselves. So now, who is in our land? Who went in our land in the 6th century BC? Your twin brother Esau. That's who went in your land in the 6th century BC. Let's keep going. Let's get back. Let's go to Malachi. Let's go to Malachi. Let's go to Malachi, the 1st chapter. Malachi 1. That's the book right before Matthew's. Because the Lord is going to tell you what he going to do to Esau heritage. Malachi 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Malachi 1 and 1. And remember, we were supposed to only be in the captivity under Nebuchadnezzar for 70 years until the reign of Babylon was over, because Nebuchadnezzar ruled for 70 years while we was in the captivity. At the end of the 70 years, we had to go back home. And we're going to show you that. Us going back home and everything. And then we're going to show you how we went into captivity again in 70 AD under Titus. And when we went into captivity under Titus in 70 AD, we ain't never been back home. Never. We don't even know where our homeland at. We don't even know where our homeland at. Malachi 1 and 1. Go ahead and read.
The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
We don't even know who Esau is. All we know is Esau is Jacob's brother. And that's about all we know. We don't know who he is. We don't know where he at. We don't know anything about Esau. All we know is Esau is Jacob's brother. Go ahead and read.
Saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountain and his heritage waste.
We just read that, where he laid his mountains, Esau mountains, and his heritage waste. We just read that. Go ahead.
For the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath had indignation forever.
And I'm going to show you why the Lord got indignation for these people. If they don't repent, the Lord said he got indignation for these people forever. And I'm going to show you why he got some indignation for these people. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. Let's put this guy in the land now. Let's put this guy in the land. Obadiah. There's only one book. Obadiah. Right after Amos, you got Obadiah. Obadiah, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Let's run our brother Esau down now. Let's run him down. Let's put him in the land. Mm-hmm. We got to put him in the land. He's the one that's in our land. And he's not the white man. He is Semitic, just like I'm Semitic. Obadiah 1 and 1. Go ahead and read.
The vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord God concerning Edom.
And we talking about our brother. He said, thus said the Lord God concerning who? Concerning Edom, your twin Jacob brother. Go ahead.
We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Go ahead.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
He said, I have made you small among the nations. That's what heathens mean. And he said, thou art greatly despised. The second hatest person on planet Earth, besides us, is our twin brother Esau. We the most hated. He the second most hated. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
Go ahead.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks,
Hey, you dwelling high. You dwelling in the cliffs of the rocks. Go ahead.
whose habitation is high,
Hey, you living high. Go ahead and read.
that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
It's going to be the Lord to bring these people down. Go ahead and read.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Go ahead.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
All the men, all the different nations to be saying, come on, we'll do a deal with you. Come on in, we'll do a deal with you. Go ahead, they bring you to the border, then they slaughter them people. Go ahead and read.
The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee.
They brought you in, and they deceived you just to make that money. Go ahead and read.
And prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Go ahead.
Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
Go ahead.
And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
And if them be, I ain't seen no prophecy against any other nation in this Bible like this. Mm-hmm. If they don't repent, the Lord say he going to cut off every one of them by slaughter. I think it's in Jeremiah 49 where the Lord talk about if they repent, he going to have mercy on them. But if they don't, he going to cut and I'm going to show you why he going to cut every one of them off by slaughter, our twin brother. Go ahead and read.
Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
That's why he going to cut them all off by slaughter. And we're going to read some of the violence they done did against us. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
Uh-huh.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them.
He said, hey, you were standing and you seen what happened to your brother Jacob. And you know what? He joined in the party to get you out the land, especially in 70 AD. He really got us out the land because he been in that land ever since the 6th century, and he didn't give that land up, people. Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 12.
Go ahead.
But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger.
When we went into captivity. Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction.
Because this happened in 70 AD. Go ahead and read.
Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of his distress.
Go ahead.
Thou should not have entered into the Thou should not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity.
Wait a minute. He's telling Esau, you shouldn't have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. So who in the gates of his people then? It's Esau. Mm-hmm. He the one that's in the land. He the one that's in the land. Not Jacob. He in captivity. Mm-hmm. He said, you shouldn't have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Go ahead and read.
Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
All your books, all your pictures. You can't tell me you got pictures of the old pharaohs, which before Israel was a nation. And you mean to tell me I can't get not one picture of Moses, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Joshua, King David, the greatest warrior, the smartest man ever lived, King Solomon? We don't have one picture of these brothers. Why? We got all these pictures of the Caesars. You got all these pictures of the pharaohs. But when it comes to the pictures of the true Israelites, these Edomites got their hands on your substance and tore every one of them up. Every one. getting you out that land. He say, read that verse again, bruh. Verse 13.
Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity.
Go ahead.
Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape.
Because in 70 AD, some of us could have escaped. You know who chased us down? Esau chased us down and got us out the land. And we're going to read that. Go ahead and read.
Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
Yeah, we get the ones who could have stayed in the land. Esau chased you down, your brother chased you down to get every one of you out the land. Go ahead and read.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
Go ahead.
For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain.
Esau, just like you have drunk upon my holy mountain. Go ahead.
So shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been.
Let's go to Ezekiel 36, people. Let's go to Ezekiel 36. Because it's Esau who in the land, people. That's who took your land. Ezekiel 36, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Ezekiel 36, and let's pick it up at verse 1. Because I look at some of my Hebrew brothers, and they get to talking about the people in our land, hollering at the Edomite is the white man. I'll be like, white man? How can Edom be the white man? Well, who is the white man? If Edom is the white man, who is the white man? Edom is not the white man. And if you ever look at him, and if you really look at a real one that's a Jew, he looked just like me and you. Curly hair, big nose. He got a snoozer. He talk with his hands. He's just as slick as you. I mean, you know Israel could talk. Edom, he could talk too. He could talk. His hands be everywhere. You looking at his hands. I ain't even heard a word you said. I'm looking at them hands, though. Ezekiel 36, let's pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead and read.
Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord God, because the enemy hath said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession.
Hey, when we went into captivity, the enemy said, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. We can take this thing now. Go ahead and read.
Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord God, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord God. Thus saith the Lord God to the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and a derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about.
Yeah, all the heathens looking at that land that's round about them. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession.
Whoa, who is Idumea?
Edom.
That's the Edom. Remember when they went down into southern Jerusalem, it was the Greeks that gave them their new name, and they called them Idumea. And who is supposed to be in your land then? Idumea. Mm-hmm. Who is Idumea? Esau, your twin brother. Your twin brother. Go ahead and finish that up.
Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey.
So who in your land? It is Esau. And let me show you what Esau said. Let's go to Ezekiel 35, and we're going to pick it up at verse 10. Let's go into Ezekiel 35, and we're going to pick it up at verse 10. Okay. Did I take this literature out of here? Oh, I did. Okay. 35 and 10. Hold up just for a second. Let me find my other article. This is an article that came out the Sun Times in 1982. Read verse 10. Go ahead and read.
Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there.
Somebody had to say, these two countries and these two nations shall be mine, whereas the Lord was there. You know who said that? Menachem Begin in 1982. Let's see this prophecy coming to pass right here. Oh, I hope you can read this. Put your glasses on, bruh. Go ahead, read the top of it.
The West Bank is Israel's forever, vows Begin.
Menachem Begin was Israel prime minister at the time in 82. Go ahead, this is what he said. And he just fulfilled this prophecy in Ezekiel 35 and verse 10. Go ahead and read.
Printed from the Sun Times, September 9th, 1982. Israel Prime Minister Menachem Begin vehemently rejected President Reagan's Middle East Peace Initiative Wednesday and declared that the occupied West Bank will be for the Jewish people for all generations. Pounding the podium for emphasis.
I mean, he was serious. He pounding the podium for emphasis. Your initiative, Reagan, is not going to work for us. Go ahead and read. And he pounding the podium to let them know I'm serious here. Go ahead and read.
Begin told a tumultuous session of the Knesset Parliament that the world will witness whose dedication will win.
Begin say, I'm going to let y'all know, Reagan, the world going to witness who dedication going to win right here. Go ahead and read.
Begin said, if someone tried to take Judea
Judea, southern Jerusalem, go ahead.
And Samaria.
Oh, no, not Samaria too. Not Samaria too. You mean to tell me Begin is the one that just made that prophecy in Ezekiel 35 and 10? That came to pass in 1982. See, when you know who is who, you can look in papers, you can look in history, and you know who you're talking about. You know who you're talking about. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead, Rob.
The world will witness whose dedication will win, Begin said. If someone tried to take Judea and Samaria from us, we will tell him, Judea and Samaria for the Jewish people for all generations.
Wait a minute, that's Esau saying this. Mm-hmm. This is Esau saying this. Now let's go back to Ezekiel 35 and pick it up at verse 10 again. 35 and verse 10 again. Go ahead and read.
Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there.
That happened in 1982 when that prophecy was fulfilled. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them.
That's Esau, out of this hatred that they didn't have against Israel. Go ahead and read.
And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume.
You see what Esau say? Hey, y'all land is laid desolate. It is given to us to consume. We gonna come and take this land. Go ahead and read.
Thus with your mouth have ye boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord God, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate.
That's a bad prophecy against these people. He said, when the whole earth is rejoicing, I'm going to make you desolate. Go ahead.
As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel.
The Edomites, they rejoiced at the inheritance of the children of Israel. You're taking their inheritance. As he already figured he was supposed to get the blessing anyway. So he rejoiced over the inheritance of Israel. Go ahead.
Because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
That's good. Y'all didn't know that was your twin brother in your land, did you? We don't know that we in captivity and our twin brother is in our land, posing as a you. Now, I'm going to show you. He posing as you, and then what is they calling us? By a byword. A proverb and a byword. You blacks, African Americans, coons, you Negroes. They go by who you are and give you them nicknames, and he done dropped his name, and he done went up under our name. And the whole world done recognized this guy as being the Jew. He done been in your land since the 6th century B.C. He been in your land a long time, a very long time. Let's go in Amos, the 1st chapter. And then I look at some of my Hebrew brothers and I say, man, bruh, we gonna have to get this together, y'all. Quit blaming everybody for your demise. You brought it on yourself. Now we don't want nobody to get into the kingdom but us. You the one that blew it, but you the only one could get in. I don't understand that. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. We want to throw everybody in the lake of fire but us. And there's going to be more of us maybe in the lake of fire than them. Amos 1, and let's pick it up at verse 9. Amos 1, and let's pick it up at verse 9. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant.
Hey, they put up the whole captivity, and they gave it to Edom, and Edom forgot that brotherly covenant that we had. Go ahead and read.
But I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, which shall devour the palaces thereof.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity.
And I'm going to show you, we're going to read in history where he pursued his brother with the sword, and he cast off all pity in 70 A.D. Go ahead and read.
And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
Hey, our twin brother Esau, he hated Jacob because he got that blessing. And he been holding that grudge ever since. Go ahead and read.
But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah.
So when you read Teman and Bozrah, you're still talking about Esau right there. These are some of the names he go by. So when we read Teman in the Bible and Bozrah in the Bible, you're talking about Esau. For you can know who you're talking about. Let's go to Jeremiah 25, and let's see how long we were supposed to be in captivity when Nebuchadnezzar took us out. Jeremiah 25, and we're going to pick it up at verse 9 again. Just to show you how long we were supposed to be in the captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. Because the 9 tribes never went back to the land. When they went into captivity, they never came back. But you had the southern tribe, which made up Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They had to go back after 70 years, after the reign of Nebuchadnezzar. Jeremiah 25, let's pick it up at verse 9. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith the Lord, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and a hissing, and a perpetual desolation.
Go ahead.
Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, the sound of the millstones, and the light of the candle. And this whole land shall be a desolation, and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
So when we went into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar, we was only under the captivity under Nebuchadnezzar for 70 years. Go ahead and read. After 70 years, we migrated back to the land. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, in the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make it perpetual desolation.
So he say, and it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon. So after the 70 years, he punished Nebuchadnezzar, and the reign of the Medes and the Persians came in after 70 years. Now, after the 70 years captivity, Israel got to go back to the land. They went back to the land under the rulership of Ezra and Nehemiah. They went back to the land. And we're going to show you them going back to the land. Let's go back into 2 Chronicles 36 again. And we're going to show you them going back to the land after the 70 years. Back to 2 Chronicles 36. Second Chronicles 36, and we're going to pick it up at verse 20. We're going to pick it up at verse 20. 36 and 20, go ahead and read.
And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons unto the reign of the kingdom of Persia.
See, they was only supposed to be in the captivity up until the reign of the kingdom of Persia. When the Persian king came into power, Israel went back home. Go ahead, because they had to have somebody in the land for when Jesus came on the earth. So when Jesus came on the earth, you had to have Israel in the land. And I'm going to show you, even when Jesus started his ministry, you know some of the disciples who followed him was out of Idumea. Go ahead, keep reading.
21. To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years.
So that's how long they had to be in the captivity. Go ahead.
Now in the first year of Cyrus, the king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus said Cyrus, king of Persia.
Listen to what, because Cyrus is the king that took over after Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Let's see what the king Cyrus say. The king of Persia. Go ahead and read.
All the kingdoms of the earth have the Lord God of heaven given me.
He say, all the kingdoms of the earth have the Lord God given me. Go ahead.
And he hath charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem.
Cyrus, the king of Persia, say, the Lord then commanded me to build them a house in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? The Lord his God be with him, and let him go up.
So now, the king of Persia, He the one that let Israel go back to the land after the 70 years of captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. Now Israel is finna go back home. Let's go into Ezra, the 2nd chapter. Let's see them going back home now. Somebody had to be in the land for when Jesus came. Ezra 2, and let's pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead. Oh, Ezra was the next book over. The next book over after Chronicles is Ezra. So all you had to do is flick one page. Ezra 2 and 1. Now, this is after the 70 years, and here go Israel migrating back home now. Go ahead and read.
Now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city.
Now Israel is going back home. Go ahead and read.
Which came to Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Reelaiah, Mordecai, Bilshan, Mizpar, Bigvai, Rehum, Baanah.
That's good. That's good. But this is after the 70 years, and Israel is returning back home. Let's see how many went. Drop down to verse 64, and let's see how many that Cyrus, the king of Persia, let go back home. Go ahead and read.
The whole congregation together was 42,303 score.
Now, there go Israel. They done went back home. So now, let's make sure that history bears this out too. That's why if you're going to be a student of the Bible, there's one thing I'm going to tell you that you can't be. You can't be lazy. Can't let Bowie do all the reading and y'all don't do none. That ain't fair. Whose phone is that going on? Hey, bro, don't be throwing up your hands. It just may be yours then. No, we ain't. This is Israel going back home. Let me make sure. Yeah. This Israel going back home after the 70 years. Go ahead and read.
So the reading comes from the last 2 million years, page 86, under Rome's shadow. When the next dominant power, the Persians, overthrew Babylon in 539 BC.
So this is 539 BC when this happened. Go ahead.
The first Jews were allowed to return to their homeland.
That was under the king, Cyrus, the king of Persia. Mm-hmm. He the one let them go back home after the 70 years. Read all that over again, Rob.
When the next dominant power, the Persians, overthrew Babylon in 539 BC, the first Jews were allowed to return to their homeland around Jerusalem. Gradually, the city was rebuilt, and by the time a new temple was completed in 516 BC, the Jews were reunited as a nation.
So now, here it is, we then went back home. Now we back in the land after the 70 years of captivity now. Now we back in the land under Ezra and Nehemiah. Now we back home. Now let's bring Jesus on the set now. Because somebody had to be in Jerusalem for when Jesus came on the set. Let's go in Luke the 19th chapter. Let's go into Luke the 19th chapter. Luke 19. Luke 19 and verse 28. Because this is when the Lord is going to come into Jerusalem riding on an ass. I hope that wasn't derogative right there. Here it is, Jesus. He's going to enter into Jerusalem right here. Luke 19, and let's pick it up at verse 28. Let's pick it up at verse 28, and we're going to read into it. Go ahead and read.
And when he had thus spoken, he went before, ascending up to Jerusalem. And it came to pass, when he was come nigh to Bethphage and Bethany, at the mount called the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples.
Go ahead.
Saying, Go ye into the village over against you, in the which at your entering ye shall find a colt tied, whereon yet never man sat. Loose him and bring him hither.
Go ahead.
If any man ask you, Why do you loose him? Thus shall ye say unto him, Because the Lord hath need of him. And they that were sent went their way, and found even as he had said unto them. And as they were loosing the colt, the owners thereof said unto them, Why loose ye the colt? And they said, The Lord have need of him.
Well, evidently, whoever owned that coat had to have some understanding that the Lord is going to come and get the coat with the ass tied. So when they came together, he didn't ask no questions. Go on and take it. He had to have some kind of understanding right there. Go ahead and read.
And they brought him to Jesus, and they cast their garments upon the coat, and they set Jesus thereon. And as he went, they spread their clothes in the way. And when he was come nigh, even now at the descent to the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of the disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice for all the mighty works that they had seen.
They looking at all the mighty works Jesus did, and they was happy. Now he is descending on Jerusalem right here. He's going to enter into Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
Saying, Blessed be the King that cometh in the name of the Lord. Peace be in heaven and glory in the highest.
Go ahead.
And some of the Pharisees from among the multitude said unto him, Master, rebuke thy disciples.
Hey, they hollering peace and rejoice. But Master, rebuke these people for saying that to you. Let's see what Jesus gonna say. This kills me right here. Let's look at Jesus gonna say. Go ahead.
And he answered and said unto them, I tell you that if these should hold their peace.
I tell you one thing, if these brothers hold their peace, go ahead.
The stones would immediately cry out.
Now the stones will cry out, rejoice, he that cometh in the name of the Lord. If my disciples don't say nothing, the rocks will cry out. Go ahead and read. That's the power that the Lord Jesus has. Go ahead and read.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
Now, when he came up on Jerusalem, he looked at the city and he just started crying. The Messiah just started crying when he got up to the city. Before he came to the city, he just looked at the city and Jesus just started crying over it. Go ahead and read.
Saying, If thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace. But now they are hid from thine eyes. For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
And the day's gonna come that your enemy's gonna cast a trench about you and keep you in on every side. And this happened in 70 AD under Titus, the Roman general. He the one that took Israel into captivity in 70 AD. Go ahead and read.
And they shall lay...
What verse you at?
Verse 44.
Go ahead.
And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
Boy, we didn't know that Jesus is letting us know you're going to go into captivity again. You're going to go in captivity again. But before we show you the captivity, when Jesus started his ministry, let me show you who was even following Jesus when he started his ministry. Let's go to Luke, the 3rd chapter. Let's go to Mark, the 3rd chapter. Let's go to Mark 3. Let me show you some people who was following Jesus even when he started his ministry. Luke 3. Mark 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 7. Mark 3. Let's pick it up at verse 1. I'm sorry, guys, verse 1. Go ahead and read.
And he entered again into the synagogue, and there was a man there which had a withered hand. And they watched him whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him.
Now they just looking at him. I wonder if he gonna heal this brother on the Sabbath day. If he do, we can accuse him now. But the Lord said it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. That's a good deed, him healing the brother. That's a good, that ain't work. That ain't no survival work. Go ahead, that's a good deed. It's just like if my mama was sick. Well, she deceased, but if my mama was sick, and I went to visit her on the Sabbath day, and she gonna ask me, would you go and get my medicine? Here go the money to pay for it. What you think I'm gonna do? Mama, this is the Sabbath day. That's against the law. Look, I'm going to get that medicine for my mama, y'all. That's a good deed. Go ahead and read.
Verse 3. And he saith unto the man which had the withered hand, stand forth. And he saith unto them, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath day, or to do evil, to save life, or to kill? But they held their peace. And when he had looked round about on them with anger.
Now he looking round about on these Israelites with anger. Now they back in the land too now. But he looking on them with anger. Go ahead and read.
Being grieved for the hardness of their hearts, he said unto the man, stretch forth thine hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. And the Pharisees went forth, and straightway took counsel with the Herodians against him, how they might destroy him.
Now let's take a look at the people who's following Jesus when he started his ministry. Go ahead and read.
But Jesus withdrew himself with his disciples to the sea.
Now Jesus withdrew himself with who? With his disciples into the sea. Go ahead.
And a great multitude from Galilee followed him, and from Judea, and from Jerusalem, and from Idumea.
Who is Idumea? What is they were doing following Jesus when he started his ministry? What is they doing following him? Remember, they got the land in 5-something BC. When they got the land, they done cultivated the land for maybe 60, 65 years before Israel, after the 70 years they in captivity under Babylon, came back. They was already there. They done cultivated the land for 65, 60 years. So now Israel come back to the land. Who there to meet them? Your twin brother Esau. Your twin brother Esau is in the land. When Jesus started his ministry, who were some of the people who was following Jesus? Esau. Why? Because he was in the land and he ain't never left. He ain't never left the land. And see, we don't know. He got the land right around the 6th century BC. And when he got the land around the 6th century BC, he didn't go back to Mount Seir. What did he do? Stayed right there in the land. He ain't never left. So some of the people who was following Jesus when he started his ministry was Idumea. Because they was already in the land, and they had been in that land at least 65, 70 years before Israel came back under the king of the Persians. I just wanted to read that to y'all. Okay, so where we at? Last 2 million years, Rob. Page 87. Page 87. We're going to pick it up right here to right here. Okay. Now, this is in 70 AD. Because Israel had to be in the land when Jesus came. But Jesus said they're going to build the trench around about you and keep you in on every side. And you went into captivity again under Titus in 70 AD. And this is the last time we went into captivity, and we ain't never been back home since then. Go ahead and read.
The last 2 million years, page 87, faith survives the dispersion. The crucifixion of Jesus about AD 30 did not end Jewish resistance to the Roman occupation. In 70, when the country was again in a state of revolt,
70 AD, go ahead.
Jerusalem, the holy city, became the core of the resistance to the Romans. Titus, the son of Emperor Vespasian, proceeded to lay siege to Jerusalem. The city fell, and the inhabitants were enslaved in their thousands and dispersed throughout the Mediterranean world. This was the first dispersion, and worse was to follow.
So now in 70 AD, Titus in 70 AD, he the one that built the trench around us, kept us in on every side. When he got in, he dispersed us throughout the Mediterranean world. So now there go Israel in captivity all over the world now. So what happened to Esau then? He's in the land. Let's see. Go to. Let me get this book here. Let's look at Esau again. Let's see what happens here. I guess we're going to start right here, and you're going to read down to right here. Okay. Let me show you what happened to Esau after 70 AD with Idumea. Let's see what happened to this guy right here. Go ahead and read.
From the sarcophagus of an ancient civilization, page 372. Henceforth, the Idumeans were reckoned as Jews, and their land was counted as one of the 11 tetrarchies of Judea. But the union between them and the Jews proved a little blessing.
Because when Israel came back to the land, they were head home with their old rival Esau. Little blessings. Go ahead.
Rather, they became an element of weakness to the Jews, and in the moment of need, they treacherously betrayed them to Rome.
That's our Edomite brothers, what they did to us in 70 AD. Some of us who could have escaped, they grabbed you and they took you to the Romans. Go ahead and read.
By nature, they were cruel and barbarous.
By nature, Edom is cruel and barbaric. Go ahead.
Fierce and turbulent. At the time the Romans under Titus besieged Jerusalem in 70 AD, the Idumeans, along with the Zealot party, early joined in the rebellion against the foe.
That here it is, they chasing us down. Hey, they going into captivity, them Edomites chase you down in your land in 70 AD. Go ahead and read. Let's look at these people. Go ahead.
Through the influence of John of Gisala, as Josephus informs us, 20,000 Idumeans were allowed access to the holy city.
20,000 Edomites was access to the holy city. Go ahead.
Only to fill the city with robbery and bloodshed.
They started killing us by the droves, people. This is why the Lord said he got indignation for these people forever, what they done did to us. Go ahead and read.
They spared nobody.
Go up a little bit and read that again.
Through the influence of John of Gisala, as Josephus informs us, 20,000 Idumeans were allowed access to the holy city, only to fill the city with robbery and bloodshed. They spared nobody.
They didn't spare nobody. Any Israelite come along, we gonna kill them, because we gonna get all y'all out the land this time. And in the 6th century BC, they didn't kill nobody. It was just an open vessel. Mm-hmm. But in 70, after we'd been in captivity for 70 years, and we get back home, they in our land now. Now, we face to face with our brother Esau. But in 70 AD, when we went into captivity again, that's when Esau started killing us, boy. Y'all got to get out this land. We done cultivated this land for 65, 70 years. And you think we going to give this land back to you? You have to be kidding. Go ahead and read.
The outer temple was completely covered with blood.
Yeah, because remember, he lived by the sword. Esau lived by the sword, people. The outer temple was completely covered with blood. Go ahead and read.
8,500 perished there in one day.
Them people killed 8,500 of us in one day. That's why the Lord got indignation for these people forever. 85,000 perished in one day. Go ahead and read.
But the rage of the Idumeans was not confined to the temple precincts. They betook themselves to the city and plundered every house and slew everyone they met.
This is what they doing to us, people. Your twin brother. Go ahead and read.
Most ruthlessly, they massacred the priests, even standing with their coarse feet upon their bodies to defile them, and casting them forth without respectful burial. Even Ananias, the high priest, fell a victim to their savage rage. He was a just and venerable man, Josephus tells us, noble, dignified, a lover of liberty and democracy, preferring peace above all things. After his death and the massacre of other priests, the bloodthirsty Idumeans fell upon the people in general as upon a flock of profane animals and cut their throats wherever they caught them.
And wherever they met you at. They killing you in the droves, people. Your twin brother, Esau. Go ahead and read.
Those who escaped immediate death was scourged and tortured until they died.
That means they had torture tactics, just like some of the Inquisitions. These people pondered long the best method that they could torture you with. Esau did the same thing to us. Go ahead and read.
Those whom they caught in the daytime were slain in the night, and their bodies were carried away and thrown away, that there might be room for other prisoners. And the terror that was upon the people was so great that no one had courage enough either to weep openly for the dead man that was related to him or to bury him.
Now if it's your brother, your sister, your mama, whoever it was, if they got caught and got killed, you couldn't even shed a tear for them. And if you did and them Idumeans caught you, you suffered the same thing. Go ahead and read.
Those who were shut up in their own houses could only shed tears in secret.
The only time I could pray for my loved ones who them Idumeans didn't kill was only in secret. Go ahead and read.
Lest any of their enemies should hear them. For if they did, those that mourned for others soon underwent the same death as those for whom they had mourned.
Hey, you mourn for somebody because we cut their throat, cut their head off. Your head is next. Go ahead and read.
With the tragic fall of Jerusalem.
With the tragic fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD, go ahead.
The Idumeans.
The Edomites, go ahead.
As a nation, pass off the stage of history and disappear entirely from human sight.
Where's they at now, people? They done disappear from a whole nation of people. You mean then disappear from human sight? A whole nation? How do a whole nation just disappear? You know how they disappeared? Instead of them being called Idumean, they started calling themselves Jews. And the real Jews is in captivity. Let's look at the real Jew now. Since we see Idumea then disappear from human sight, don't nobody know who Esau is. They read in the Bible, Jacob brother Esau, but who knows who he is? Since they didn't disappear from human sight, let's see what didn't happen to the Israelite then. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. See, we don't know that the whole nation then disappeared from human sight. How do that happen? Deuteronomy 28. It's good to read this whole chapter on your own, because we can't read the whole thing. We just going to hit certain spots. This Israelite, what was foretold to happen to him. Because we can't read the whole thing. But we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28, and let's pick it up at verse 25. And when you read these curses that's on these people, you got to look and say, compare them, Esau, Jacob. We know who Esau is now. Esau is claiming to be Jacob now. And that's his land. Let's see if these curses fit the man who the world recognized as Jacob. 25, and let's pick it up at 28 and 25. Go ahead and read verse 25.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemy.
He said, if you don't act right, Israel, the Lord gonna cause you to be smitten before your enemy. Go ahead.
Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
What do removed mean?
Taken.
That looked like a captivity to me. Removed don't mean that I migrated. Everywhere this man then went, who called himself Esau, who Esau is, he migrated everywhere he then went. Removed is being taken away against your will. That didn't happen to them. Let's drop down to verse, keep going.
26. And thy carcass shall be meat upon all fowls of the air.
I'm sorry, drop down to verse 28. Let's just look at some of the things that's supposed to happen to the real Israelite. Verse 28, go ahead and read.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
We still mad. We blind. Ain't nobody as blind as us. When you don't know who you are and don't know where you come from, you really blind. You don't even have your own language. Everybody here speak three different languages. I speak one. Now, I was a bus driver in Chicago, and I go in there and see the boss, and he a Hamite, and you have a Hamite in there talking to him, and they talking in their language, and I'm just sitting there. They could be talking about me. Look at that big dummy. He a dummy. I don't even know they talking about me. Verse 28, go ahead.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt grope at noonday.
Do y'all know what the word grope mean? Grope mean if we turn off every light here in the city of Dallas, now you try to find your way around. Try to find your way around in the dark. That's what grope mean. Grope mean walk around blindly and feeling your way around. That's how we are as a people. The man who called himself a Jew ain't groping. He is not groping. That's what grope means. You just walking around blindly. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness.
And you groping at noonday? Sun is shining bright. But you groping. You don't know nothing. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
No, that really can't be the man called himself a Jew. And you're not going to prosper in your way. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee.
That's why whenever somebody get up and talk too much for us, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to them. They're going to get killed. They're going to get killed. Only the Lord is going to save us out this situation we in. What verse was that?
That was 29.
Let's drop down to verse 37. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment.
Everybody astonished at how you live. How do these people live the way they do? And you shall become an astonishment. Go ahead.
A proverb.
That old wise saying, if you seen one, you seen them all. If one lazy, all of them lazy. That's an old wise saying, that proverb. Go ahead.
And a byword.
Blacks, Africans, boy, colored, going by who you are and giving you them nicknames. Go ahead.
Among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
And don't all nations call us by them bywords? But why they don't call my brother Esau by a byword though? If this what's supposed to happen to the real Israelite. Why they don't call him by a byword? Go ahead and read. What verse?
38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it.
The field is the world. You go out, work for these corporations, you make $15 an hour. Okay, cool. He making millions. Drop down to verse 41. Let's keep going.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
Wait a minute. Captivity is being removed, ain't it? Where in recorded history, anywhere, that you can find that the man who called himself a Jew went into captivity? Anywhere in recorded history. It's not there. It's not there. Verse 43, go ahead and read.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
It ain't talking about a stranger in you. It's just talking about the strangers that's among you. They go get up above you very high. Go ahead.
And thou shalt come down very low.
Wait, the man who called himself a Jew, is he high or low? Uh-oh, this can't fit him. It got to fit. Just like the dude say, if it don't fit, you have to
quit.
That's what he said. This don't fit him. The stranger's getting above him very high, and he coming down very low. Go ahead and read.
44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Wait a minute. Who do we go to get loans from? And more than likely, it's going to be Esau. Even he may have a Jacobite sitting in front, but he the one that's got to agree to give you the loan. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Where's our banks at? The man who called himself a Jew got banks everywhere. In fact, he the one that called the interest rates to go up and down, especially when Greenspan was there. He called interest rates to go up and down. Majority of your owners of these sports teams, majority of them is Jewish. Ransdorf, the guy in Cleveland. All these dudes are Jewish boys who own these big franchises. Jewels, Florsheim shoes. And we could go on and on and on what these people own. He the one. But where's our banks? Where's our grocery stores? Where's our shoe factories at? No, this ain't fitting him. Go ahead and read.
The end of 44. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Wait a minute. The man ain't the tail around here. He the head. Who the tail? Well, you at the tail of the tail. Go ahead and read.
45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee.
He say all these curses gonna come on you, and they gonna pursue you. So where you go, these curses going. If he is the man that's the Jew, then these curses supposed to pursue him. Go ahead and read.
And overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Why? Go ahead.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
You know what a sign means? When you see that railroad thing, the diamond, you know you're coming up on the railroad crossing. When you see the round sign, you know you're coming up on the stop sign. So these curses, whoever they own, is pointing out who the real Israelite is. They're going to pursue you. Go ahead.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Uh-oh, do it supposed to stop? I mean, it's a little better. But hey, we still in bad shape. We still in bad shape. Let's drop down to verse 63. Let's drop down to verse 63. 63, go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good.
Now, at one time, the Lord rejoiced over Israel to do them good. That's when they was behaving themselves. Go ahead and read.
And to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught.
Do you know that the God of this Bible is rejoicing over Israel to destroy them and to bring them to nothing? This don't fit this man who called himself a Jew, y'all. This can't fit him. Go ahead and read.
And ye shall be plucked off from the land whither thou goest to possess it.
Oh, why we in here? Why we in Dallas? Because we've been plucked off the land that the Lord then gave us to possess it. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
I got a question. Who is the only people in this hemisphere that's in everybody's religion? Name a religion we ain't in. Give me one. I'm downtown one time, and these dudes is jumping around. They had long bed sheets on. They jumping around with headball with a string of hair in the back that's going down to the middle of the back. They jumping around and jumping. And I looked over there and I go, Israel. Israel, what are you doing, man? He jumping around with the bed sheet. I say, we in everything. Latter-day Saints. You couldn't get in the Latter-day Saints 60 years ago. We done pounded the door till we knocked the door down, they let you in. You couldn't be a Catholic 50 years ago. We done knocked that door down too. We in everything. You name a religion we ain't in. The Jewish people don't do that. They don't come to the Baptist church. They don't come over there to the Pentecostal. They don't come over there. All other nations, they stay in the religion that they was brought up in. Israel is in every religion. Total difference. Go ahead and read. What verse?
I don't know.
Hey, Rob, what happened though?
I got caught up. Verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
He's saying when you get among these nations, you ain't going to find no ease. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
You ain't going to have no rest. I'm going to hurt you, people. I'm rejoicing over you to destroy you. You ain't going to have no rest. Go ahead.
But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart.
He said the Lord going to give you there a trembling heart. Go ahead.
And a failing of eyes.
Failing of eyes. Go ahead.
And a sorrow of mind.
I'll be wondering why we could sing the blues so good. Why can we sing the blues as good as we sing it, B.B. King? Well, I see why not. Go ahead and read.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
Man, the people who call themselves Jews, the Edomites, their children's lives is not hanging in doubt. They go to college. They know what they're going to college for because they're going to take over the family business. When our children go to college, Lord, let them get a job when they come out so they can pay their tuition. Let them get a job because they go to college. They ain't going to pursue a career majority of the time. They going to college to have a party. So now, even my daughter, she went to college. She out, making $15 an hour. Her life still hanging in doubt, man. But these people who call themselves Jews, their children going to take over the family business. They know what they're going to college for.
66.
66 again. Go ahead.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
He say, and you're Israel, you're not going to have none assurance of thy life. Let's keep going. We got 3 other places. One, we got a few more, but we getting there. Let's go to Psalms 44, everybody. Psalms 44, we almost there. I got to get this in. It still could be raining. Psalms 44. And we're going to pick this up at, Let's pick this up at verse 11. I'm sorry. Yeah, we going to read it. They didn't flick them pages, bruh. We going to read it now. Verse 11, go ahead and read. 44 and 11, go ahead.
Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat.
Lord, you done gave us like sheep appointed for me. Everybody devour us. They just eat us up. Go ahead and read.
And hast scattered us among the heathen.
Hey, Lord, you done scattered us among the nations. Go ahead.
Thou sellest thy people for naught.
You done sold your people for nothing. Go ahead.
And dost not increase thy wealth by their price. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors.
Everybody, we a reproach to our neighbors. You get on the elevator with a European, they step back. They be watching you. Let me keep my eye on him. Go ahead.
A scorn and a derision to them that are round about us.
Go ahead.
Thou makest us a byword among the heathen.
You maketh us a byword, them nicknames among the heathens, the nations. Go ahead.
A shaking of the head among the people.
And when the people see you coming and they look at your situation, people say, I don't want to live like them people. They want to look like you. They want the suntan. They want to run like you. They want to jump like you. But they don't want to be in your position. Because they know your position a horrible one. And do Israel know who he is? Let's go to Isaiah, the first chapter. Let's see. Let's go to Isaiah 1. 1, 2, we got 4 other places and they short. Isaiah 1. And let's pick it up at verse, Isaiah 1. And let's pick it up at verse 2. Let's see if Israel know who he is. And it don't get no greater than this witness right here. Isaiah 1 and 2. Go ahead and read.
Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth.
We say, hear, O heaven, and give ear, O earth. Go ahead.
For the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
Go ahead.
The ox knoweth his owner.
He say the ox know who his owner is. Go ahead.
The ass his master's crib.
And the ass his master's crib. Go ahead.
But Israel doeth not know.
He say Israel, they doth not know. He say, go ahead.
My people doeth not consider.
He say you don't know who you are. He say you are as dumb as an ox or an ass. You don't even consider who you are. That's how dumb he's saying we are. That's how dumb he's saying we are. The ox know his owner, and his ass his master's crib. He say, but Israel doth not know. He say, my people is so dumb. They looking at all the bad things that didn't happen to them down through the generations. He say, and they don't even consider. What verse is that?
That was the end of 3.
Go ahead and read.
Ah, sinful nation.
He said, y'all just a sinful nation. Go ahead.
A people laden with iniquity.
Y'all are people laden with iniquity. Go ahead.
A seed of evildoers.
Oh, man. He said, you just a seed of evildoers. Go ahead.
Children that are corrupters.
You ain't going to do the right thing. You ain't nothing but a corrupter. Go ahead.
They have forsaken the Lord.
Uh-huh.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward.
Go ahead. He said, y'all just wicked people. Y'all just didn't went away backwards. Let me tell you what I'm going to stop doing to you people. Go ahead and read.
Why should ye be stricken anymore?
Why should I keep punishing you people?
Ye will revolt more and more.
The more I punish you, the more I spank you, the more you revolt. Well, what kind of people is this? The more you get whooped, the more you revolt. I was like that as a baby. My mama whooped me. I'd be just hollering and grabbing the arm and under the bed. They have a hard time trying to whoop me. Same thing with Israel. The more I beat you, the more you revolt. Go ahead and read.
The whole head is sick.
Hey, he said, look, your whole head is sick. Go ahead.
And the whole heart faint.
Uh-huh.
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it.
You mean from your foot to your head, you ain't got no soundness? Well, you in bad shape, Israel. Go ahead.
But wounds and bruises and putrefying sores, They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
And when you go to them churches, they ain't gonna modify you with no ointment and teach you the truth. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 32, and we read one verse. As he said, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. He said, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. 32 and 26. We're going to read that 126. 26. This is what he said about the real Israelite. 32 and 26. Go ahead and read.
I said, I would scatter them into corners.
He said, I'm going to scatter these people in the corners. Go ahead.
I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men.
He said, I'm going to make the remembrance of this real Israelite to cease from before men. My question is, who remember you? Who remember you? The book says he's going to make the remembrance of you to cease from among men. Who remember the real Israelite? This is what had to happen to the real Israelite. So the man who we call a Jew, why this ain't happening to him then? Why everybody know who he is? Mm-hmm. And then they look at us, don't nobody remember who we are. He said, I'm going to make the remembrance of you to cease from among man. Don't nobody remember you. Ox know his own, the ox know his owner, and the ass his master's crib. Israel doth not know, and my people don't even consider. And he said he gonna make the remembrance of you to cease from among man. Let's go to Revelations 2. Revelations 2. And let's pick it up at verse 9. See, this is what some of my Israelite brothers need to do. Quit putting the blame on somebody else. Quit putting the blame on somebody else. The blame is on our forefathers, not on the white man. If we had been obedient, we would have been top dog, people. We'd have been the one that's running the finances. All we had to do is be obedient. And then I look at my Israelite brothers, and they be saying, you know, all you could do, all you Europeans could do is be slaves when I get back to you. Y'all gonna be my slaves, man, when we get back to the land. Well, I'm here to let you know one thing, Israel. If they gonna be your slaves in the land, you know what you just missed? You just missed the first resurrection, wanting some Europeans to be your slave. You just missed the first resurrection, the high calling you just missed. Because you want somebody to be your slave in the land. I ain't looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being in the first resurrection. Because if you go to the land and these people are your slaves, you doing that during the 1,000-year millennium period. You just missed the first resurrection. That's why I know even my Israelite brothers don't even understand. Revelations 2, and let's pick it up at verse 9. Revelations 2, and let's pick it up at verse 9. Go ahead and read.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty.
He said, I know your works, your tribulations, and your poverty. Go ahead.
But thou art rich.
How you going to be impoverished and rich at the same time? You impoverished because you're Israel. You rich because we the people of God.
Amen.
Go ahead and read.
And I know the blasphemy of
Wait, dude, what do the word blasphemy mean? Blasphemy means somebody calling themselves something and they're not. Mm-hmm. If I call myself, I use a perfect example. The abomination that make it desolate that's going to stand in the holy place, he's going to call himself God. that's blasphemy because he's not God. So the people who call themselves Jews, they blaspheme by calling themselves Jews, and they're not. Read that verse again. Go ahead.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
Oh, wait a minute now. All I know is one thing. Somebody calling themselves a Jew, and the book just said they not. Mm-hmm. And I know one thing, it's not you. It's not you. He said, I know the blaspheme of them which say they are Jews and are not. Go ahead.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
One more place, 3 and 9. Revelations 3 and 9. Go ahead and read when you get it.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not.
Somebody saying they Jews, and the book say they are not. Go ahead.
But do lie.
Oh, somebody lying. Who calling themselves a Jew. Somebody got to be lying according to the Bible. Go ahead.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
I hope somebody understood the lesson. Jacob and Esau. Our first fight that we had with these people was in the womb. In our foreparents' womb, Rebecca. We fighting in the womb. The Lord told Rebecca, you go have 2 manner of people going to be separated. 2 nations are in thy womb. 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. The elder shall serve the younger. The younger went bad, had 12 sons. They all went into captivity. And what happened? Your twin brother went in your land. In the 6th century BC, he been in your land ever since. And the whole world is recognizing our twin brother as being us. Hopefully somebody understood the